All right, so this is your Chapter 6 test review. Test is on Wednesday, and it's going to be on 6.1 through 6.4. So we're going to do a couple from each section here, just so we remember how to do everything, and then the rest, whatever we don't do, will be your homework. So the first 4 questions, we have to write each expression in exponential form. So it gives it to us with a radical. We need to change this so it's just an exponent. So we're going to have p with some number up here, some exponent. So what is our index of this radical? If nothing's written here, what does that mean our index is? 2. And the index goes on the top or the bottom of a fraction? The bottom. So that 2 is going on the bottom. What do you think goes on the top of our fraction? The 5. The 5 is already up top here, so it just stays up top. So our answer is p to the power of 5 over 2. That's it. Easy peasy. All we need to do is get rid of our radical, put it as an exponent. So whatever our index is, that number out front, that's going to go on the bottom of our exponent. Let's do one more. So let's look at number 3. So we're going to have b to some exponent up here. What do you think our denominator of that exponent is? 6. Perfect. Our index goes in the denominator. So whatever number is out front goes to the bottom. What's going to be on top? Do we have any exponent here in our? Not 0. V is our base. This is the big V here. 1. Perfect. 1 goes on top.
Why is it 1?
Whenever we don't have an index, we just have to put 1 on top. So it's like 1. Whenever we don't have an exponent, because our index is 6, whenever we don't have an exponent, 1 goes on top. Bless you.
Thank you.
All right, in the next 4, we're going the other way. So we're writing each expression in radical form. So for these, we just take our index, whatever our denominator is, and put it in the front of our radical. So we need to draw a radical. Whatever's on the inside stays on the inside. Our denominator goes out front. Whatever's on top stays on top. So this would be our answer. The cubed root of 4x to the 5th power. If you want to, you can put parentheses around it. We could also write this as the cubed root of 4x to the 5th power here. You can put your 5 on the inside or up top on the outside. Doesn't matter. I think it's easier to write it this way, the first way, just because when you write it on the inside, you have to make sure that you have parentheses so you know that that 5 exponent applies to the 4 and the x. So if you put it on the inside, you have to put parentheses. If it's on the outside, you don't have to put parentheses. So I think it's just easier. Leave it up top when it's on top. All right, let's look at number 7. So we're changing this into radical form. What's going to go on the inside of our radical? Inside. 2n to the 3rd power. Whatever's on the inside stays on the inside. What is our index? What's the number that's going to go out front here?
6.
Perfect. Whatever our denominator is, this is our index. That goes out front. And that's it. For these, you're not solving. All you're doing is rewriting. The next few, we are actually simplifying and solving it out. So let's look at 9. So remember, we want to break down everything that's inside of our radical, break it down as much as we can, and then we circle whatever our index is, that's how many we circle, to take it out. So you have to circle it in order to take it out. What's our index here when nothing's written? 2. Our index is 2 when we have nothing written there. So now we want to break everything down. So it helps if you just take it one thing at a time. So we'll work with our numbers first, then the x's, then the y's, then the z's. So let's break down 8. What are 2 factors of 8? 4 and 2. What are 2 factors of 4? 2 and 2 and 2. Do we have any groups of 2 here? Yep. We have 2 2's. So what can we take out? A 2. We already have a negative 5 on the outside, so we're going to leave that on the outside, and we're taking out another 2. Do we have anything that has to stay on the inside? The other 2 has to stay on the inside. Now let's do the same thing for the x's. How many x's do we have? 2. We're circling groups of 2, so that means we circle both of our x's. What do we do with the x's that we circle? Where does it go? On the outside. So 1 x goes on the outside because we have 1 pair of x's. Now let's look at the y's. How many y's do we have? 1. Do we have a group of 2? Nope. So what do we do with the y? Inside. It stays on the inside. If you can't take it out, it has to stay on the inside. What about z's? How many z's do we have? 1. So what do we do with that z? Stays on the inside. Now we just want to multiply everything and put it together. So what's negative 5 times 2? Negative 10. And we have an x on the outside. And then we have 2 y, z on the inside. So this is our answer. So this question looks kind of tricky because we have a number on the outside, we have a number on the inside, an x, a y, and a z. But just take it one step at a time. Do your numbers first, then the x's, then the y's, then the z's. One step at a time, and it makes the problem so much easier. All right. Let's look at 15. So here we want to change, whenever we have a fraction as our exponent, we want to change it to a radical. So what's our index of our radical going to be? What number do we put out front? 3. The denominator is our index. That goes out front. What goes inside of our radical? 27r to the 3rd power. So let's break everything down. What are 2 factors of 27? 9 and 3. What are 2 factors of 9? 3 and 3. We want to circle groups of what here? Groups of 3. So we have 3 3's. Perfect. What do we do with the 3 3's that we circle? A 3 goes on the outside. Now we do the same thing with the r's. How many r's do we have here? 3. We're circling what? Groups of how many? Groups of 3. Perfect, because we have 3 r's. So what do we do with the r's that we circle? Move it to the outside. Do we have anything left on the inside? Nope. So our answer is 3r. Let's look at, we'll do 17 since this one has a big number. So we want to change this to a radical. Whatever's on the inside stays on the inside. What's our index? What's going to go out front? 3. Whatever's in the denominator goes out front. And then what do we do with that 2? Just put it on the outside. Whatever's on top stays on top. What should we do next? break it down. So what is a factor of 343? I think 7 goes into it. Let's see. Yep, 7 and 49. What are factors of 49? 7 and 7, perfect. Can we break anything down more here? No. Nope. What do we need to circle? Groups of 3. Do we have a group of 3? Yep, we have 3 7s. So what do we do with the 7s? Put 1 on the outside. Now we do the same thing with the ends. How many ends do we have? 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're circling groups of 3. So, 3, 3, and 3. So how many ends do we take to the outside? And to the third power. 3 go to the outside because we have 3 groups. 1, 2, 3. So have them. And we're not done yet because we still have this 2 up top. So technically, we still have the 2 up top there. So now we just need to multiply 7n cubed times 7n cubed. So this is 7n to the third power times 7n to the third power. So just like we did when breaking it down, we want to work with our numbers and then our variables. So what is 7 times 7? 49. And then how many n's do I have here? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So how many total do I have? 6.
You don't multiply
These are all being multiplied together, so I have n cubed here times n cubed. So it's like n times n times n times n times n. So yes, they're being multiplied, but you don't multiply the exponents. So just be careful with that. If it helps, write it out so then you can see and count how many you have. It always helps me just to write it out and see how many do I have. So write it out, count, that way you don't make any silly math errors. All right, let's do 19 together also since we're multiplying here and it's a little bit different. Do we have the same index? Can we combine these together? Yep. Since our index is 3, we can put them all under one radical. So that -4, whatever's on the outside, stays on the outside. Everything else is going to go under our radical. So we have 12 times n cubed times 16 times n cubed. So I'm just going to work with my numbers first and then do the ends after. So I'm actually going to rewrite this. Keep that -4 where it is. And then I have 12 times 16 times n cubed times n cubed. I just want to rewrite it so I have all my numbers together. I can work with those, and all my variables together. I can work with those after. What should I do from here? Break it down. So what are factors of 12? 4 and 3. What are factors of 16? 4 and 4. What are factors of 4? 2 and 2. And then 2 and 2 and 2 and 2. So I want to circle groups of what here?
3.
Groups of 3. So I have 3 2's here. Do I have anything else I can circle?
Yes.
What?
2s.
The other group of 3 2's. 3 2's here. So how many 2's are going to come to the outside? 2, because I have 2 circles there. So that's going to join that -4 on the outside. What stays on the inside?
3.
The 3. Oh yeah, 2 groups of 2. Perfect. Sorry, I forgot. Good catch. So I had 2 circles of 2's, so I take out 2 2's. So that's where these 2's come from. 1, 2. Now let's do the same thing with my ends. How many ends here do I have? 3. So n times n times n. And how many ends here do I have? 3. So how many ends total? 6. But I'm circling groups of what? Groups of 3. So I have 3 here and 3 here. So how many ends do I take to the outside? 2. Do any stay on the inside? Nope. I circled everything, so it all came out. So what should I do next? Multiply. So I want to multiply all the numbers that I took to the outside together first. So I have negative 4 times 2 times 2. What's negative 4 times 2 times 2?
Negative 16.
Awesome. Negative 16. And then what else do I have on the outside? N squared. And then I have the cubed root. So I keep that 3 as my index. Whatever the index is in your question, you have to keep it in your answer also. So I keep that cubed root, and I have a 3 on the inside. So this is my answer. So for 21, since the indexes are not the same, we have the cubed root and nothing here, which means that it is the square root. So our indexes aren't the same, can't multiply them.